Hey folks, welcome to Sunset Builders and Maintenance Initial Podcast. We're gathered here today with Josh from Pheonix Electric, and welcome.
Good morning, thank you.
I'm going to let Josh introduce his company to you in just a second, and by all means feel free to reach out if you need his services in the future. Our purpose here today is to give you folks some information about what we do for a living. I'm a general contractor, Josh is a licensed electrician, and why we feel like it's important to work with licensed professionals for any project that you have to be done. Josh, why don't you tell us about your company?
So I started the company almost 7 years ago, and we're a family-based business. So I was an electrician in Missouri for almost 20 years.
They have electricity in Missouri.
They do have electricity in Missouri.
It's good to know.
So, and when we relocated here about 7 years ago, I started the company, and it was just one van at the time. Now it's a family function, literally. My wife works for us.
Neat how small businesses turn that way real quick.
My son works for us, my daughter works for us, so the whole family works there. My grandson, not old enough yet to work for us. He's 3, but eventually.
He'll get there.
Yes.
He'll get there.
So we've been based in Cape Coral ever since we opened, and
now you service other areas than Cape Coral.
We mostly concentrate on Lee County, but we also do Cal area as well. So pretty much everything south of Charlotte County.
Gotcha.
So we'll go all the way to Marco if needed.
All right, very good. I myself am a licensed general contractor. Wasn't smart enough to specialize in any one given trade, so I messed them all up, is what I like to tell people. I've been in business now for 15 years. My background was working for other general contractors in Florida, building commercial spaces, Walmarts, Walgreens, Bonefish Plazas, things of that nature. And when the market crash hit back in 07, 08, and 09, I, for lack of anything better to do, opened up my own company. There's a whole nother book on that topic. So Josh, I was talking to you off camera before we got started. Mm-hmm. And you know, one of the things that we both run into is we'll get phone calls from clients wanting us to give them a bid to fix whatever. And invariably we hear this more than we care to. Your price is too high. I'm gonna go and hire my neighbor's son's nephew's cousin's daughter's boyfriend who can rewire my entire house panel for a fraction of what you're going to charge. And I hear that, you know, oh, they'll put the windows in, whatever the case may be. We hear that more than we would like, and so we want to use this opportunity. Josh, tell me why. And I know, but tell me why. Tell our customers here, why should we go for paying that extra sum of money to hire the licensed contractor? What do you bring to the table?
Well, there's a lot of things on that. So first off, safety is paramount, especially in the electrical industry. Basically, just because someone, you hear it a lot that, you know, well, my neighbor was a lineman.
Yes.
A lineman, honestly, I've been doing this long enough. A lineman doesn't understand how a home is set up or how the wiring in that home works.
Okay.
Small mistakes can be detrimental. You know, fires are caused by small mistakes.
I love opening up walls in a house when the customer tells me, oh, my husband fixed that, and I open it up, I'm like, yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Yeah, of course he did. Fire is the number one concern when it comes to electrical. Improperly sized conductors heat up just like a heated floor or a heated steering wheel, which is nice in your bathroom, but it is not nice in your home. You know, overheated wires, faulty breakers, and then you have all kinds of issues that go on from there. That's number one, is it's just unsafe. So don't trust. Yes, it's expensive, but as you know, running a company is expensive, period. You know, the overhead and the insurance, the liability, everything that goes along with it, your vehicles, your insurance, so on and so forth.
What about your education? Can you just walk in off the street and open up an electrical company?
You cannot. So at least in the state of Florida and almost everywhere.
Okay.
First off, you have to have so much experience, so many years in the
Documented
field.
experience.
Documented. It can't be.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah, it can't be a letter written from your grandma saying that he knows what he's doing. So it all has to be documented experience, and then the testing process, just like your license was, it's extensive. It's multiple tests, not only on running a business, but also your profession.
Mine test was 2 days long. I took it up in Tampa in this large auditorium. There was hundreds of people there to take that test those 2 days. I was terrified just to see the number of people.
It is daunting, for anybody to look at that test and say, okay, or that exam and say, okay, this is going to be easy, because it is not.
They always told us when we were practicing that there was a 60 to 70% failure rate. And when I got there and I saw the masses of people showing up, I'm like, okay, I kind of get this now, because you get people from across the board, trying to. The joke in the inside is that I'm a great carpenter, so I'm going to be a great business owner. And unfortunately, you see so many businesses go under because they don't understand how to operate a business. They don't,
Correct.
You've got insurances on the trucks, you've got insurances on this office space that we're paying for. The expenses just seem to magically appear out of nowhere. Yeah. Those are the only constants in business, is expenses. So,
right, and going back to what we were saying earlier, the other issue is, and it's not only about the safety of the installation, the quality of the installation, the warranty that comes with paying that cost. We also live in a very, I don't know if the right word for it is litigious.
Litigious. I'm going to sue your ass off.
Not just that, but it's almost like a tattletale type of place where Missouri didn't seem this way. And what I mean by that is, you've got a lot of nosy neighbors, and when you have a work truck in your driveway, they may or may not call code enforcement because they're not sure if you have a permit for that work.
Well, you touched on something there right for a second. The liability is what you were referring to. We have to pay for something. It's called general liability insurance.
Correct.
Which protects all of the homeowners. So your neighbor's cousin's nephew's son probably doesn't have general liability insurance that's going to cover him to do electrical work. And just for the general fund of knowledge, general liability insurance is very, very trade specific. For instance, as a general contractor, I might be able to change out a ceiling fan if it's like for like, same location, but I can't go into your walls and run electrical conduit or wiring. And likewise, Josh can't go out to your house and build you a swimming pool. Now, he can wire it up for you, that's fine, but he can't build you a swimming pool and he can't build you a bathroom from scratch. So we have to work together as teammates to complete some of these more complex projects, and let's face it, anything from a bathroom remodel on down is going to have several different team members that come in to make sure that you, the customer, get the best value for your dollar.
Right, and you touched on it earlier about the general liability, and that's one thing that homeowners or customers may not understand. All the work that we do is dangerous, all of it. Your work is dangerous. When you're demoing, we're working with saws, we're working with, knives, we're working with all kinds of things, ladders, anything that can hurt you. And what some people may not understand is when they hire the guy, that was cheaper, and they don't check to see if he's licensed, they don't check to see if he has workers' comp or liability insurance or any of the other things that we are required to carry, and someone gets hurt on that property,
it's going back against their...
They can literally bankrupt that homeowner. If someone gets, that was working for that person.
So let's talk about that real quickly.
Homeowner.
Here's how that happens, folks, is you have an unlicensed, uninsured person working on your property, and they do damage to your house. Your homeowner's insurance policy rep will come down, they will inspect what happened, and they can decline coverage for your home. And I've seen it happen because you didn't take proper precautions to protect your home. General liability protects something that we might do to your house. It steps in if we make a mistake. That's what that general liability policy is for. But we also carry workers' compensation insurance. In the state of Florida, if you're working in the contracting industry, the first employee past the owner, or any owners, if there's a group of owners, has to be covered by workers' compensation. So I know Josh's his business partner is his wife, and my business partner is my ex-wife. We both have exemptions, which is fine, but every one of my staff that goes out in the field and every one of Josh's staff that goes out in the field, and trust me, I check, are all covered by workers' comp insurance. There's a game that gets played with that. I might go out and open up a business, Sam's Construction LLC, not licensed by the state, which is illegal. I'll go buy myself a general liability policy, and it gets named in my wife's name because general liability policies are valued based upon who's applying for them. It's like car insurance. If you've got a 16-year-old son who has a habit of speeding and wrecking cars, his car insurance is going to be really high versus your wife might be able to get that same policy much less. General liability and workers' comp policies work just exactly the same way. So these startup companies like to go and play a little game where someone else will get that policy. Now, as a homeowner, what you need to do is you need to look at who's signing that contract against you. So for instance, when you get my contracts, it says Sunset Builders and Maintenance. When you get Josh's contracts, they say Pheonix or Pheonix Electric. You need to request those general liability and workers' comp policies. It's your right. You need to do that. And in the certification box, it needs to say Pheonix Electric on both of those documents. And it needs to say Sunset Builders and Maintenance. And if it doesn't, stop it right there because there's a problem. And I see it all the time. Subcontractors want to come and work for me. They want to take some of my business, which is fine. We do it all the time. And they give me documents that don't add up. So I can do a whole seminar on an insurance as a loan. It's a very frustrating thing to me because there's so many guys out there working without the right insurance.
Right. And that's what's the same thing for me. That's what makes it this. Just because I worked for an electrical company for so many years does not qualify me to do that.
And there's some great electricians in the Fort Myers area that you can rattle them off by name. And they come in, I worked for so-and-so for 10 years. I know what I'm doing. I don't doubt that. But you need a license and you need insurance.
Right. And it does get frustrating because we pay those monies, every month, just like you do. And then you find out, that this guy isn't doing those things. Right. Don't get me wrong. The longevity of that type of operation is not good. Typically, that guy that we're talking about, he's either going to get arrested because it was a state of emergency after a hurricane and he was working unlicensed, which in the state of Florida is a felony. Or, lawsuits coming about because he screwed up people's houses or he took deposits on things that he never completed. And without that documentation, without that licensing, without that notice of commencement, that is there to protect you as the homeowner and the business owner,
Josh, you talked about something a minute ago real briefly, and I just want to, this is one of my sales things that I talk about when I'm meeting with my clients, and that's a warranty. In the state of Florida, licensed contractors have to provide you a 1-year craftsmanship warranty on anything that we do. That's in addition to any product warranties that you may or may not have. It goes unstated most of the time, but part of the money that you pay me for my contract allows me, to earn a profit. Anybody that's in business that says they're not there to earn a profit is lying to you.
That's correct.
You have to earn a profit. And here's the thing, that profit that we make, it ensures that I'm going to be in business in 1, 3, and 5 years down the road.
Right.
When something goes wrong with with your home, and it doesn't matter if we did the work or whoever did the work, if something's wrong, you need it fixed. Air conditioning's, how long you want to live in the summertime in South Florida with your air conditioning going bad? You want somebody out there ASAP. So that profit, I know it's an ugly 4-letter word, businesses have to make that in order to be able to service your warranty claims. So I always tell people, when a contractor gives you their bid, I don't know about everybody else, I'm giving you the best number that I can give you to do your job,
Right.
Stay in business and service you and every other customer that comes behind you.
Well, and I get asked that constantly. You know, do you give veterans discounts? I do not. I'm a veteran myself,
Yeah.
and I'm.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
I am also a veteran.
But I don't discount my prices. The point is if you have something, if you have just like you, if you have let's say you need a dock wired, a residential dock wired, and you get 3 bids, and they're all from licensed individuals, those should all be fairly close. And when I say fairly
You should be able
close,
to throw a hat on them and
they should all line up somewhere within 10 to 15% is what I think. You know what I'm saying? If you have one that is 120% higher
or lower.
or lower, there's a real problem there. You know, then obviously something's gone really wrong. But if, you know, when I and it happens all the time where this is how much it's going to cost. And then I get a customer saying, well, I got a quote for half of that. And I say, that's impossible. It's impossible.
Take it at your own risk.
So, I mean, if that is what you think, well, will you discount it? Well, I've already given you the correct price. It's a fair price. It is not, it doesn't exceed industry standards.
That's something I tell people all the time. If I am overpricing your job, I'm going to be out of business real fast.
Absolutely.
The market just won't sustain it. People don't understand that our prices are driven by commodity lumber, for me, glass, metal, for you, copper wire.
Mm-hmm.
You can't beat those numbers too much. But anyway, our price is driven by more factors than just I'm waking up one morning, I'm like, I'm going to try to sell this and make my retirement off of your job. It just doesn't happen that way.
No, and if it does, if you are able to sneak past a few customers and make just a ton of profit, word of mouth is one of the most powerful things ever.
Oh my God.
So if you have 10 customers and they're really, really happy with you, chances are they might tell one other person.
Yeah, but piss one of them off,
and they will tell all the people. They will tell the entire neighborhood if you do something wrong.
Yep.
And I think what's really important about Mark and I, we have worked together for years. Pretty much since the beginning of my company is when we started working together. There is really something to be said about hiring a general contractor that has this many years of experience, that has his relationships with his subcontractors. Mark doesn't always use me, but he uses me quite a bit. One of the most important things about your project is, okay, the guy costed half, but he's been doing this project for a year because he's pulling off and he's not this and he's not coordinated and so on and so forth. Whereas,
well, this happened to me
of why it's
on
so
a job
important.
that we didn't take you on that job, and it happened. I got beat to death with change orders.
Mm-hmm.
It was in one of my project managers, unfortunately, right after Ian, and we were more than a little chaotic. And we saw a number, and we jumped, and I paid for that mistake because the quotes were valid. And to be fair, he did clarify this is not in there. This is not in there.
Sure.
And it was my mistake for not clarifying his bid. After all was said and done with the change orders, he was right in line with where you were. And unfortunately, we didn't catch that. So
yeah, and I like I said, you can rake someone over the coals. You can make a ton of profit in this business, but you will not last. Period.
And you have to physically think about doing that. I don't know about you, but I've got charts back there in my office, and I know what a 2x12 costs. You know what a 100-foot roll of Romex costs.
I do.
And if somebody calls you, you probably have more than one estimate to do at any given time. So estimates are money. What we want to do is we want to do them as quickly and as legitimately as we can to get them out the door to make money. I'd actually have to stop. Okay, I'm gonna change the markup on this. How am I going? And then I got to write it all down and remember what I said, because if you come back and challenge me on something, I'm not going to remember, and I'm going to look like an idiot.
Well, and another thing is,
and I do that easily enough as it is. So don't need help.
You would mention it earlier, was the market does not sustain.
Correct.
I am actually friends with more electrical contractors than I am not, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I know just about all of them. I have been in social situations with these folks, and we all talk to each other so that we know, because we all know how much it costs. We know how much it costs to, buy a $50,000 van and then outfit it with $30,000 worth of materials and tools. We all know those overhead costs.
Right.
We all know our insurance costs. Obviously, some contractors are looking for a different profit margin than others. Some can survive on a lower profit margin, and some can't. So that's another part of the market, is knowing your competition. I don't look at them as my competition. Most of them are my friends, because there is more than enough work to go around. Typically, we live in a large area, with a lot of residents.
Isn't it neat how the reputable guys talk to each other, and
yes,
the other ones, you never see them.
Well, and I never owned a company before this, so it was different working for someone and then coming here, because I wasn't sure, honestly, being from Missouri, I wasn't sure how I was going to be accepted into Cape Coral or Lee County.
I remember the first job that you ever came out on on mine. We sat and talked for probably 2 hours just about business. We did. It had nothing to do with the job or electricity.
And I followed a lot of those rules, and I almost went bankrupt because of it.
That's what I was doing. Push him out the door. So real quickly, I'm going to look over here at Savannah real quick and see how much time we got left. I've got one more topic I'd like to touch on if we have. If not, we may have to pick this one up on the second one. What do you see back there?
7 more minutes.
Okay, great. Another thing that drives price sometimes, and I'm going to use I use this during my sales calls. It's experience. I've been doing construction work now since 1997 in one form. I started working at a daycare in Buffalo, New York. The lady that I worked for owned 2 daycare facilities. And I never will forget this. I was learning everything on the fly, and her father pulled me aside. His name was Dick Clark, of all things, Richard Clark.
Okay.
And he pulled me aside, and I had just patched this piece of drywall, and he said, "Marco, come here, I want to show you something." And within a day of me making the patch, it was already knocked in again. The kids, an army and children can tear anything up really quickly.
Sure.
He said, "If you're going to build this," he said, "I want you to build this like Patton's Third Army's coming through." I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I'll tell you what I did. I had used paint stirring sticks as my backer for my piece of drywall, thinking that I was cheating the system. Now this is going back, folks. Give me some credit here. But I learned something from him, and that is, if you're going to do it right. And so fast forward, what is that, 97, we're almost at 30 years in the business. When you call me out to your house, I've lived in Florida now since 2000. I kind of know, I don't know specifically, I can't see through the walls, but I kind of know what I'm going to get into based upon the age of your home, where it's built in Southwest Florida. Sometimes we can recognize different builders. Michigan Homes is a very popular builder back in the 70s and 80s on Sanibel. I know their houses very well because they're coming up for renovation work. So the point is, I've been doing this for almost 30 years. And I tell people, if you needed brain surgery and you could pick, a lot of times you can't, you've got Dr. A that's been doing brain surgery for 30 years.
Right.
Or you've got Dr. B who, running joke, you know what you call a doctor that finished last in med school? Doctor. You could take Dr. B, who just graduated school, who's a licensed brain surgeon, which one are you going to go with if you got to put your money on one or the other? My guess is you're going to go with Dr. A that's got 30 years of experience.
Right.
I'm wondering off the top of my head, which one's going to cost the most?
Dr. A.
Dr. A is more than likely going to cost the most. They know what they're, and likewise when I send Josh pictures all the time. He's so busy he can't make it out to my job sites, and I take a picture of an electrical panel and I'm like, how bad is this? And he's like, oh my God, and I just know, okay, new panel. Because I'm relying upon his experience. And people call me out and I look at jobs and I see black stuff growing up the wall and I'm like, oh, that's not good. I know I'm going to find mold in the wall when I tear the drywall down, and I have to deal with that. So, long story short, education and time and service means something to these contractors when you're talking to them. Ask me. I'm kind of proud to tell you I've almost been doing this for 30 years. And I'm still in business. Sunset's been open we'll be 16 years old this year.
Congratulations.
That's a miracle in itself. So,
well, and I honestly, I lose more money with my experience. And the reason why...
You talk yourself out of jobs.
Well, not only that, but I'll get phone calls for easy service jobs. And I will tell the customer how to fix it over the phone.
Okay. Yeah, I've done that.
Because I know what's wrong.
I know.
I've been doing it so long. When you call for a service issue, if I can help you fix it yourself.
My favorite one is the reset button on the garbage disposal. Just push that button.
Well, that one too, yeah. But the GFI in the garage.
Yeah.
From the 80s, it controlled the front and the rear outlets, and they're asking...
My business partner has that very thing.
Go reset the GFI.
Her bathroom has a GFCI button in it, and downstairs, if that thing flips, it controls every light in her basement. I'm like, who set that up?
Whoever wired it.
Whoever wired it, yes. Josh, I want to thanks for coming out. It's been a lot of fun talking with you.
Of course.
Folks, if you need a licensed electrician in Southwest Florida, give Josh a call. Phone number?
239-699-4277 or www.pheonixelectriccorp.com.
Great. Happy to have you. And obviously, if you need a GC to build or manage your project, we'd love to talk to you. Sunset Builders and Maintenance. My phone number is 239-233-2152. That's my cell number. Or you can find us on the web at www.sunsetbuilders.net. Till the next time, have a great day.
Thank you.